Okay, hello everyone. It's Chukandunesoku here again, and today I want to talk about impulse, impulse and corrections, trend, support, and resistance. These are basically things we need to know in our confirmation checklist when we want to draw up our charts. So first of all, I'm just going to take a trend line and draw a trend. Then I'll define what a trend is. So this here is my trend line. I'm just going to go from here to here. So, and I'll also do this. Now, you see this upward movement of price. This date here is the 6th of August of September 2017. This was last year, and from last year till say 27th of August, this line has been an uptrend. Now, how do you an uptrend? For movement of the market, you see what we call higher A and higher V. So you see now, this here is a V. The shape, this is like a V here. We have this V. You see the next V is higher than the previous V. This is another V here. It's higher than this V. And this is another V here. And this is an A. The next A here is higher than the previous A. And then the next A here is higher than this previous A here, and this V here is higher than this V here. Now this is the major characteristic of an uptrend, right? So this here is the day time frame. Even if you take this to a 4 hours time frame, you will still recognize this uptrend over 1 year. Now, if you were to trade this market being an uptrend, all you have to do is now I drew a line which is this trend line, the first one I drew. Now you call that support. I'm still going to get to what support and resistance are, but again, this is a support, and also this line above here is also what we call a resistance. So this here is a support line. You see, the trend hits this line 1, 2, let's call this 3. So when the trend hits this line, price hits this trend line 1, 2, then after the second time, when it comes around that line the third time and does not break through, it does not break this area, come down here, does not break this area to come down here, then you know of course it's an uptrend. Although when market got here, market has been able to reverse. Market is reversing here, so you see from this point to this point, you see market has reversed. It came here, it couldn't break it. It came here, it couldn't break it. It came here, it couldn't break it. Market is going back down, and from this point, you can say the downstairs has started, right? So here is an uptrend. Here the downstairs has started. Just from so this is what a trend is. And if you were to trade just this trend, for instance, if you got into this analysis when the market was just around this point, and then you let market go up, hit this particular point of your diagonal resistance and comes back to your diagonal support, you're going to be entering this trade here. You're going to be entering a buy from here to this point here. That's 758. That is a whole lot of money. If you're trading a standard lot, this here is a whole lot of money. Or you're trading a mini lot or a micro lot or nano lot, whatever it is, 758 pips is a whole lot of money in Forex. So you see, just by recognizing this trend, you're able to enter a buy here and sell take profit here. Now, if you also recognize that this trend has hit this point before, from here now, let's extend this one. Came here, dropped down, came back up, dropped down. The third time is coming back up here, because truth is, I told you, remember I told you, if market hits the trend line twice, on the third time, no, that is a confirmation that this is a legitimate uptrend. Now, it hit here once, and it hit here once, it hit here twice, and then on this third one, you're going to be entering a sell. Now, if you sell the USD card from here, let's say you enter here, this is your entry, and you come all the way down here for take profit. That's 580 pips. That's a whole lot of money. So just by recognizing this trend, you can trade the market and make lots of money. Now, this is just a trend line. Now, I'm going to remove all of this and show you how you can. Now, one thing here, before I remove the lines, one thing you should know about trend lines is there's always one rule. There's impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse. Now, the impulse is the first move. You see this, all these green candles here, it moves up. Then the market tries to correct itself. But when it corrects, it does not correct back to the previous position where market kicked off from. Now, that's the correction. Now, there's another impulse and a new correction. But every impulse has a new high, and every correction has a new high. So you see, you have higher highs and higher lows. This is a high and this is a low. You have a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low. Now that is an uptrend. Now I'm going to remove all of this and then show you what resistance and support lines are. Now, by looking at this chart here, I can easily identify resistance lines and support lines or reversal lines. Now I'm just going to take this horizontal line here. Now I'll place this here. Now if you notice, just by placing this line here, you see market has come up to test here as a resistance, came here to test it. It came here, it tried to break it, but it came back to test it, tested it here. You see, market respects this line I just drew now, even up till this point. This here, market came back to test this line as a support. This is a support. So support is that line below the market that market cannot break through, and then resistance is that line above the market where market cannot break through. So this here is a support line for USD card, and when you come back here, you see this line being a resistance line. Now if we go back in the past, close this, go back in the past, you see market has respected this line as here as a support. It couldn't break support and it went back up, and it continued this here. It came here to test it as a resistance, and if you go back into the past, you see this line is now here. It came to test it as a support. It couldn't break support and it went back up. So I'm going to draw more. Let me look for more lines now. I'm just going to take my horizontal line and place a line here. Now, you see here, market has come to test this place as resistance. It tested it here as resistance, here the same thing, here before it broke resistance and came back, came to test it as resistance. Now this, you come forward and you see market testing this line again as support, and if you go into the past, you find market testing this region here as your support. Go further into the past and you see markets testing this line here as support, as resistance here before it broke through, and basically sometimes you would want to see this as regions and not just lines. So I often just take this rectangle tool and then mark this up as an area of call this an area of support. So it's not just a line, it's this whole area. Price is coming back to test this area, it went back out, came back to test this area as an area of support, and come here is about the same thing. And I often use this rectangle tool to actually mark up these areas of support and resistance, and you see market respects this area so much. It keeps trying to break it. It pushed it down, it went out, came back, tested this area a lot, and this is our resistance. Pushed it back to the support line, pushed it back to the resistance line. It couldn't break through. It pushed it till it broke through here and went out and came back to test this area as a support. And ever since, it has been testing this area as a support. So this is basically how you know your area of resistance and support. Now, the reason why I'm teaching this is because on our next course, I'm going to be teaching two major strategies that you'll be applying to take your trades. Then if you apply them the way you're being taught, you would make profits throughout the week in Forex. Now, so these lines I'm drawing are very, very important for the analysis we're about to do on our next course. I'm going to take this back to the 4 hours time frame. So we look for areas of possible resistance and support. Okay. Now this is our 4 hours time frame. Now I'm just going to put this line here, and if you see, price has come out, came back to test this area as our support. It couldn't break support, it went back out, came back, tested it, broke it, came back, tried to tested it with these wicks you're seeing here, and it couldn't break it, came back to test it as resistance, it broke, came back. But basically, you understand what I mean now. It came here to test this line here as a resistance, it couldn't break it, and it came all the way back here, tested it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Now, the reason why I'm calling all this out is because I see an area of resistance and not just a line. Now, you see that area? That is it. So, you came back to test this area as your resistance and came back to test it as a support. Now, you see, if you are someone who traded Forex just by price action, you see that just from, let me get my arrow, just from here to this point, you've made profit by buying. And then you sell from here to here, you've made profit by selling. And then you buy here when market goes back. From here to here, you've made profit from selling, and then just from here, you make, from here to here, you make profit. From here to here, you've made profit. From here to here, just by going up and down between the supports, which is this line down here, and the resistance, which is this line up here. Now, if you check the distance between these two lines, you find this is 189 pips. Imagine making 189 pips every other day of the week just by you reading this price action. So this is the beauty of knowing how to identify trends, support and resistance, impulse and corrections. And when you apply this to the strategies we're going to be teaching on our next courses, then your journey to Forex will be a beautiful one. Yep. I hope I've been able to teach you something helpful today. I remain my humble self, Chukanzune Soko, and I hope to see you on the next course so that we talk about the rhombus and rectangle strategy. Yeah, that is where we'll make all the money in Forex. So have a lovely time learning. If you don't understand anything I've said here, go back and watch this video again and again till you fully understand. And if you do not understand after that, feel free to buzz me up, send me an email, contact me, comment on my Dropbox or my YouTube, and I'll be here to take all your questions and direct you further on how to best understand trend lines, support, resistance, impulse, and correction. Alright, see you on the next course. Bye.